Hey, True Seekers, welcome back. Episode number 200. Since it's a milestone episode, I thought we better talk about something important. And when I think of things that are important, I think of food. I think of what we eat. Something that's also undervalued in our society by many, sadly. But also, it seems like something we're becoming more and more conscious of. So there's some signs, there's some positive signs. All right, so let's just start with the basics. Let's look at the simple English gematria. This is just where you add the word with the alphabetic order. So V is the 22nd letter, that's plus 22. E is the 5th, plus 5. G, that's plus 7, and so on. Vegetable sums to 79. Fruit sums to 74. Candy sums to 47. Think about how many candies are fruit flavors, like imitation fruit, a reflection. 47, 74. And meat is 39. What I've done here with these numbers is this is English gematria values. This is simple English gematria. This is English gematria. All you do to get to the English gematria value is multiply by 6. When you multiply 79 times 6, you get the number 474. And that's an interesting number because within it is 47 and 74. Like we saw in fruit and candy. 74 times 6 forms the number 444. Another curious number. Candy, 47 times 6 is 282. Meat, 39 times 6 is 234. So, for those of you who really like this study of gematria, I recommend going to gematrix.org. That's spelled GEMATRIX.org. Gematrix.org. All right, moving on. In the United States, we are very much a meat-oriented diet society. Most people are eating meat with at least 2 meals a day, many people all 3. What I've done here is I've broken down these names in Pythagorean and simple English gematria for cow, pig, chicken, the 3 animals that primarily get eaten in this meat-centered diet. Cow has the gematria of 14. The word dead equals 14. And with simple English gematria, it sums to 41, like the acronym USA. To me, these things are interesting. I think about how central beef is in the American diet. And I think about how cattle are essentially just raised. They live a life to eventually become dead meat, right? The word dead equals 14. Pig. Pig has very American numbers too. We eat a lot of pork in this country. In other parts of the world, they don't eat pigs. But in the United States, we eat a lot. The word America equals 32. The word pig equals 32 in simple English gematria. And it's the flip, 2332. It's interesting how all these numbers are a reflection of themselves. 14, 41, 23, 32. The word chicken sums to 35 with the Pythagorean method, 53 with simple English gematria, and 44 with the K exception. All very interesting numbers. When you think of foods that people eat a lot, actually, let's go back a step. So these are their animal names. Let's talk about how we refer to them as food, I guess. When a cow becomes food to us, we call it beef. Beef is a word that with the Pythagorean method and simple English method, it has the same value because it's made up of just single-digit letters. B-E-E-F, which sums to 18, which has a numerology of 9. And in occult numerology, 9 represents the fall of man. So perhaps feeding a society on a diet with a meat, with this gematria, this numerology, perhaps it's all well planned and thought out. And that's how I've been coming to think the American diet is long before I understood gematria. We'll get into that more. Just go through the numbers for now. So pork, a controversial food, you could say, in the world of food because a lot of cultures think it is taboo and do not eat it, religious practices. It's the only food that I've noticed that has a gematria of 33, with the K exception. And then poultry, it's got the 37,127. Okay, so in the way people eat their foods, meat, fruits, vegetables, all of it, they eat it oftentimes fried. Fried foods. They're so dominant in our society. And look at the Gematria values. With Pythagorean, it's 33. With Simple English, it's 42. 33 and 42. The word frosted. Think about frosted. Think how many foods we eat that are sugar-coated, from donuts to cereals. With Pythagorean, sums to 33. With the S exception, 42. Simple English Gematria, 87. Notice that all these numbers reduce to 6, just like fried. With regards to frosted, this year, Time Magazine on May 15th, 2014 ranked the brands that have the most sugar in their cereal on average. This is how the rankings finished. Malt-O-Meal was the worst. We just did Pythagorean Gematria up here. Malt-O-Meal sums to 29. 2 plus 9 becomes 11, so it's an 11 word. 29 is the first number to have a numerology of 11 after 11. The word Kellogg, the company that pretty much got us on the breakfast cereal path. Many other parts of the world eat a hearty meal for breakfast. In the United States, a lot of people just eat bowls of sugary cereal. And Kellogg, once upon a time, got us on that path. Kellogg is a name with 33 Gematria. Lieber, they were the third worst offender, another company with 33 Gematria. General Mills was ranked 4th. General Mills sums to 55. The word numerology sums to 55. Notice how all these words are multiples of 11. 11, 33, 33, 55. And then the 5th worst offender was ShopRite, which has a Gematria of 47, like candy. 4 plus 7 equals 11, just like 2 plus 9. Okay, so moving back up here, let's just look at the Gematria of food itself. Food. F is the 6th letter, so F is 6. O is the 15th letter. 1 plus 5 becomes 6. This is the Pythagorean method. This is how we got these values down here, same thing. O, 15th letter, 6. D is the 4th letter. So look at that, 666, and then in numerology, 4 represents foundation. It's in Revelation where the number 666 is mentioned, and it's mentioned as the man who sees what's coming will calculate 666. To me, when I think about that, it makes me think about what it means, this whole concept of food and what it does for us. If you take the phrase, we are what we eat, it's well understood. If we eat healthy foods, we will be healthy. If we eat poor foods, we will feel unwell. We will become sick. Our bodies and our health will suffer. So it's kind of like a calculation. You're going to make a choice. You're going to see what's coming by the choices you're making. You know what your future outcome will be. Also, when you sum this word together, 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 4, it sums to 22, another multiple of 11. The word master, if we do this same thing, sums to 22. And if you look at a lot of numerology sources, it will say 22 is the master number. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Remember, in numerology, the number of foundation is 4. All right, so and also think about that. If you say the phrase fried food, now you've said 55, this super important number in numerology. If you say frosted food, you've said 33 plus 22, another 55 phrase. More on this theme of 33 and food. This year, the New York Times, on June 2nd, 2014, you can look up this article on the web. Their headline is, "No nation has lowered their obesity rate in 33 years. And I saw this, just being aware of this, and I said, look at that. Look at that. What are they really trying to tell us? They're probably patting themselves on the back for destroying our food sources and the way we eat. These sick people who manipulate all this. Check this out with the New York Times if you didn't know this already. They were established September 18th, 1851. If you add up this date in numerology, 9 plus 1 plus 8 plus 1 plus 8 plus 5 plus 1, it sums to 33. New York Times was one of the first papers to write about the Holocaust before it even happened. Holocaust is a word with 33 gematria. Alright, so just skipping around now, Truth Seeker. This is a big topic, so I don't mean to be too tangential. I'm trying to be somewhat organized in my thinking. Let's just come back here and talk about fruit for a second. Fruit with 33 gematria are banana and peach. And in the last decade, if you've been following the headlines, there's been a lot of news about bananas. When I was in high school, we watched a documentary in a current events class. I was a senior in high school for the years 2000 and 2001. I'm the class of 2001. That year, we had to watch a documentary on how the banana was going to be extinct in 10 years and what humanity could do to save it. Anyway, it's been more than 10 years and bananas are not extinct. But I just remember learning about that at the time. And now just learning about it and seeing this, I just think somehow all this has to do with it. You know what I mean? Bananas, they've been in the news a lot. They're at 33 thing. Something strange there with the banana. When I saw that peach equaled 33, I wondered and I wondered and I wondered and I wanted to get to the bottom of why peach might sum to 33. Well, did you guys know that cyanide, the poison, comes from peach pits? And did you know that a large percentage of the world's peaches are grown by the Catholic Church? I did not know any of this before, but in my research, I've uncovered it, and it's quite interesting. Read all about it. Peaches and the Vatican and cyanide. For those of you who don't know, arsenic is the 33rd element on the periodic table. It sums to 33 in gematria, just like a word like fried. And it has an atomic weight of 74. 3374. And think about that with peach fruit. Peach sums to 33. It's part of the fruit group 74. A lot like arsenic, if you follow me, Truth Seeker. Also on this topic of food, we should talk about soda and pop. And, you know, I've been fortunate my whole life. I don't know what it is about me, but I've never really liked soda or pop. I think because of the sizzling effect, or what do you call it, carbonation. I didn't like that as a kid. It felt violent to me, or that something was wrong with it. So I would always just drink water. We were also poor, so we didn't really have any of that around. But I always preferred water to soda. And when I was at people's houses and they'd offer me soda, I'd ask for water instead. And that surprised so many people. They could not believe that I'd rather have some water. But, you know, True Seeker, I think that's just what's been done to us. I think we just have been tricked into some really bad stuff. Soda is one of those things. I think it's obviously bad, but people like it so much. Anyway, look at the gematria of it. Soda, 39, like meat. Pop, 47. It also makes you think of pop music. The word radio sums to 47. The word rock sums to 47. The Indian word for candy is cheeky. 33. Chicky. 33. The word Indian is also 33. Should be noted that water sums to 67, just like organic. They both sum to 67. This is simple English gematria. So, yeah, some interesting numbers here, some very Masonic numbers. If you're not familiar with this word right here, Kroger, what this is this is the biggest grocery store company in the world, Kroger. Here in the Pacific Northwest, they own the stores Fred Meyer. Fred is spelled with a 33 gematria. Meyer is spelled with a 66 gematria. Fred Meyer's 3366. They also own Quality Food Cooperative. I think they used to be called a Quality Food Company, but they changed the C to something else. Anyhow, the word quality has a gematria of 33 with the Pythagorean method. So their stores out here have 33 names. Their overall company name is 74. For those of you who have never seen my post before, you guys should know that 74 is a very important number in the study of gematria in English. The word English sums to 74. The word gematria sums to 74. Jesus sums to 74. Cross sums to 74. It's said that Jesus was crucified at 33, this 3374 thing. In the United States, only one of the 50 states has a gematria of 74. It is the 33rd state, Oregon. The 33rd state sums to 74, no other. The reason I wrote Comcast up here is because it's the nation's biggest television cable provider and becoming the only one for a lot of regions. More and more, it's becoming more and more of a monopoly. It sums to 74. And of course, it's Comcast and cable television that broadcast the commercials that make us crave and want most of these foods. From soda to pizza to fried food. Think about KFC. Kentucky equals 110. Fried, we showed out 33. Look at all these just interesting 11 words. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Think about all the pizza places, from Domino's to Pizza Hut to a million more. Papa John's, Papa Murphy's, Round Table, and so many more. Taco Bell, they have the phrase "Live Moss." You pay attention to sports games, this slogan is everywhere. Moss is Sam in reverse. 13 plus 1 plus 19 is 33. And you think also about what's in so many of these foods. It's not just the breakfast cereals, it even is the fried foods and everything else. The sodas, it's just everything else. It's sugar. We're a nation on sugar. We are addicted to sugar. Sugar is a word with a gematria of 66. Alcohol is also a word with a gematria of 66, and you think about how sugar can be turned into alcohol. You also think about how Prohibition ended in this country in 33. It ended in 1933. If you write out the word 33 with letters and then turn it into numbers and sum it, it sums to 66. This all goes back to the Bible. The Bible's of 66 books. The first book is Genesis. Genesis sums to 33. What did we say food was? 666, a number that comes from the Bible. The Bible largely talks about temptation. The word tempt is 74. Temptation is 133. And that's what they've done to us with food, you guys. That's really what my message is. Done with all the numbers. That was a lot of number explaining. Now the real message. The real message is we think with our mouths when it comes to food way too often. We like the taste of soda, so we cram this poisonous beverage down our throat. We like candy on our teeth and our gums and our taste buds, so we cram it in our mouths. We like meat more than vegetables, so we eat more of it than vegetables. The problem is our intestines are like this, back and forth, in a better order than that. Animals that have intestines like this are normally vegetarian. Carnivores have intestines that look pretty much like this, just a straight line, because meats, the way they're processed by the body, it's just more efficient this way. Our bodies are designed more like vegetarians or herbivores, not like carnivores. It doesn't mean that we're not supposed to eat meat. It just shows you that our bodies are more in tune with eating vegetables. It's obvious. You look at all the evidence in the natural world from the animal species, our bodies are much more like the herbivores, the vegetarians, than they are the carnivores. This is the carnivore. This is the vegetarian. Yet, despite this being the reality, most of us eat more meat. We eat more like carnivores than we do vegetarians. And the other proof is that we're not carnivores is that we don't go out and eat raw meat. We get sick when we do that. And sure, there is evidence out there that there's people who've adjusted to doing this, but that still is not the norm of humanity. So, that the other reason I want to talk about this, Truth Seekers, is because this really is something we can all do. We can all participate in eating better. And by eating better, we're going to help ourselves and we're going to help the planet. The thing about eating vegetables is it's a more efficient diet for the planet. Imagine if you had an acre of land. What could you get more of? Could you have more grass to feed a cow? Or could you have, a plentiful garden with varieties and varieties of fruits and vegetables? And honestly, a small space for maybe if you did want to have some meat, some chickens, You could be efficient with meat. In the United States, we're gluttonous with with beef. And the thing about beef is these animals, they require a lot of resources to grow. They have to drink a lot of water. They have to eat a lot of vegetables, grains themselves. And all those foods that they eat to make their flesh, that essentially is just for food, could be used to feed other people more efficiently. You know, that's the other thing, Truth Seeker. We live in a world where people really are starving to death every day. And they really are starving to death needlessly. And it's because we live in this world ran by madmen. But the only reason these madmen are able to stay in power is because we keep falling for their tricks and submitting to what they want us to submit to, which is, in large part, food. Food is the foundation of what they've done to us, essentially. Every day, tens and millions of us are going to grocery stores and buying all these products that essentially puts money back in their pockets and keeps their system of junk food and poisoning us operating. I hope I'm coming through clearly. I don't feel like I'm articulating this the best way, but if you're someone out there who's not eating very well right now, you're eating a lot of pizza, you're drinking a lot of soda, you're consuming a lot of alcohol. I know lots of people are doing this. I don't want to shame you. I know most people are doing this. And I know the reason they're doing it is because, in a way, it's I guess it's therapy for a lot of us. Eating this junk food is something we look forward to. We've become addicted to the junk. And for those of you who think I'm off my rocker, I know I'm not. You know why? Because I worked with kids for a lot of years. And I saw something with kids and sugar. When you give kids sugar, it's not different than giving junkies drugs. You start seeing all sorts of behavioral problems come out. It's just like when you see a group of college kids or early 20s getting together, drinking a ton. You know, problems arise. It's just like when you get a bunch of little kids together and give them a bunch of sugar, such as at a birthday party, a bunch of cake and ice cream and soda, and the next thing you know, kids are fighting and crying and tantrums. I've just seen it too many times. Too many different populations of kids. All sorts of different groups. Rich kids, kids in group homes. Sugar, it causes problems with kids. Sure, some kids can handle it too. Maybe you're thinking, I have a kid, he handles sugar just fine. Well, good for you. You are a good parent. You've raised your child right. But I've also seen a lot of kids really break down with the sugar. And when you think about it, I mean, why are we giving kids so much sugar? Why do we live in a nation that subsidizes sugar and corn above all other foods? Sugar and corn we know are not good for us nutritionally, yet we're spending the majority of our tax dollars on subsidizing those foods as a nation. I should have wrote corn up here. Corn equals 50 with simple English gematria, just like the 50 states. Truth Seeker, I'm also asking rhetorical questions. I know why they spend all this money on sugar and corn. This is all part of the control, Truth Seeker. That's also the message. This is how they've controlled us. They've poisoned us with food. They've made us addicted to junk. And what has that done to our minds? A lot of people in other parts of the world say that they think Americans are dumb. I've talked to plenty of people from other parts of the world who've expressed that they thought I was a rare case. They had met Americans like me, and I'd tell them, well, unfortunately, I haven't met any Americans like me either. But anyway, these people have expressed to me how they've thought that, yeah, it seemed like the people of this country were dumb to them, and they didn't exactly know why that was. I think it's because of this. I think it's because what's been done to us with food, fluoride in the water. You start talking about fluoride, wow, some people that's when they say things like tinfoil hat and conspiracy theorists. But it's just so obvious. I mean, not tinfoil. Fluoride, it comes from horrible sources. It comes from metal waste, for the most part. It was the Aluminum Company of America that got fluoride approved for the water. So think about that. It was a metal company and their science and research that got aluminum or fluoride put in to public water supplies. And I think what we see now with chemtrails in the sky, I think it's just the legacy of fluoride and everything else that they've done to us. They probably even put more arsenic in the water than needs to be in there. Wouldn't surprise me in the least. All right, Truth Seeker, I've been rambling on and on for a little bit about this one. But yeah, food. If you can eat better, do it. You really can. I know you can, Truth Seeker. I had to make the switch once upon a time, and I'm grateful I did. I think, I changed my diet over 14 years ago, and I think I've had a lot of health benefits since then. I haven't had to go to the doctor at all in that period of time, except for I do have to admit that my right ear has tinnitus. That just started one day. So I'm not all healthy. My ear rings, but other than that, I haven't had any health problems. And I think it's mostly due to eating well and exercising. I think those are simple things we can all do. The word simple sums to 74. Simple things we can do, True Seeker. Eat better. Eat more local. Less meat, less junk, more fruits and vegetables. All right. Until next time.